Hey, how's it going? Today I'm talking about Dopey Race Part 6 after the races.
This is Running to the Castle, a podcast for injury prone Run Disney runners on a journey to running magical miles. Join me, Dr. Allie, as I share the secrets I've gathered as a runner, doctor of physical therapy, and coach. You'll learn the exact ways I get my clients to the castle strong without feeling broken or held together with KT tape as they cross the finish line.
Congratulations, you have finished the Dopey Challenge. Now, what should you do? One of the biggest mistakes I see runners make after a race is they aren't balanced in how much running they do after the race. So they either do too much, they jump right back into it, or they don't do enough and they wait way too long and then they get out of shape. And when it's time to go start training for a race again, they have to start all over from the beginning. I don't want either of those to happen to you, because if you jump straight into it and keep going and going and going, you can get hurt. And if you wait too long and before you start running again, well, if you haven't planned it out, you could get hurt because you jump back into it too much too soon. Or it just takes longer for you to get back to the running that you were at, get back to the endurance that you had before. And then that's just frustrating. So in my free training plans, I have mapped out the next 2 weeks, and I'm going to talk about what that looks like today. I'm mainly going to talk about what it looks like for somebody who's just doing Dopey, but I am going to sprinkle in a little bit of what you should do if you're doing something like Disneyland Half Marathon, Dumbo Double Dare, Princess, or heading on to Springtime Surprise later in April. So the first thing is you should be doing your stretching and your recovery. I did talk about that in other episodes. So go back and listen to the other parts of this Dopey series to learn more about that. This is specifically like after the races, like the days after the races, the weeks after the races. So in my free training plans, I have mapped out the 2 weeks of exactly how much you should run or walk or what have you. So the goal of the next 2 weeks is to stay mobile, stay limber, not tighten up, not have pain, and not overdo it. Your body just went through a lot. You ran 48.6 miles, or even if you didn't run all of the races, because a lot of my clients walk the 5K, the 10K, maybe even the half marathon. Heck, maybe even the full marathon. None of my clients are doing that right now, but it's possible because you could walk a 15-minute per mile. You could walk a 16-minute per mile and stay in the game, right? The point is you were on your feet and doing all of those miles for so long. 48.6 miles, that is hours and hours and hours of activity. So that's almost 13 hours of activity, not counting the time you're waiting in the corrals, not counting the time if you aren't a 16-minute per mile pace. I literally calculated how much time the balloon ladies are on their feet at their 16-minute per mile pace, how long that would take each of the races, 5K, 10K, half marathon, full marathon, added it up. It is just under 13 hours. That's a lot of activity, and it's back to back to back to back days. It's so much. So you want your body to rest and recover while still maintaining the endurance that you have. So I recommend on Monday, you're either walking around and keeping things leisurely or just flat out rest. A lot of runners will go to the parks. I highly encourage it. Just take it easy. Don't try and rope drop and go through the celebration fireworks to go do a ride, stand in line. Then maybe the next thing you're going to do is go do a show. So then you're sitting for a while. So you alternate sitting and standing. But I do encourage, go to Disney parks. I mean, we're doing these races because we like Disney. So let's go enjoy Disney, right? We just need to be smart about it. And then on Tuesday, same thing, walk 45 minutes. So you'll notice 2 days in a row where you're just leisurely walking, staying mobile, staying limber. Of course, you're stretching after these days because it does prevent soreness from settling in, but it also helps recovery. taking hot Epsom salt baths or icing what you need to. So any new ache or pain that is brought on recently, it's ice or heat for 10 to 20 minutes if it's a cold pack or a hot pack for 10 to 14 days, up to 5 times a day. If you're doing a hot Epsom salt bath, it can be 20 or 30 minutes. If you're doing an ice bath, you only need 3 minutes. I don't recommend ice baths, but I'm not in your body. Maybe ice and cold works for you. That is wonderful. Olaf likes warm hugs. Dr. Allie likes warm baths, so I go toward the heat. But either one of them can work nicely. Wednesday, you're resting. Thursday, it's walking 45 minutes. Friday, rest. Saturday, rest. So that first week is super leisurely. Continue to hydrate and eat protein. Then the following week, you're walking Sunday, Tuesday, Thursday, resting Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, leisurely cross training. And then the following week, you're walking Sunday and Tuesday, resting Monday and Friday, cross train Wednesday and Saturday. First run is an easy run that Thursday, 45 minutes. So 10-minute warm up, 25 minutes of easy run, 10-minute cool down. And that's it. And then you should be feeling ready to go. Most of my runners who go through working with me, whether one-on-one or my favorite, Stronger, Faster, Finisher, I love having that community feel and having other runners recommend other things to the runners, because I don't know everything. I don't know all the goos and gels and drinks. I know the training plan like the back of my hand. I know the recovery stuff like the back of my hand. And it's recovery like therapy wise, right? Like what you want to be doing. But somebody might know, oh, there's this new tool that does that I really like better than foam rolling or massage gun, right? Like there's this new type of roller that you can put around your leg, roll it up and down your leg. I didn't know about that, but it gets the same effect of foam rolling and massage gun. And that came from someone else. It's wonderful. I love these kinds of things. But most of my runners in this capacity, by next Tuesday after race day, so we're talking 8 days, 9 days after the race, they're like, all right, when can I run? Let's just keep going. And I do recommend holding back, pull back from that to maximize your recovery, because although it's going to feel like you feel awesome and you can keep going and going and going, hold back on that, because after a marathon, you are still recovering. For slow back of the pack runners, first time marathoners, first time dopey runners, or if it's been a while, it can take 6 to 8 weeks to recover from the marathon, from what that is doing to your body on a cellular level. So you may feel okay, but not be completely recovered. It's like when you have an infection, a bacterial infection, you need antibiotics. The doctor really tells you, they really, really, really ingrain it in you, finish the whole course of antibiotics, right? But you already feel better 3 days into the antibiotics, but you have a full 7-day course. That's what this is. With the way I have structured the training plan and the recovery after the race, you're going to feel like you can go and run another marathon. Hold back on that, or maybe not a marathon, but you can go run faster or more than what's on the schedule. Hold back on that because your body is still recovering on the inside. Just like when you take those antibiotics, you're feeling a lot better, but your body is still recovering on the inside and need those full dose, full course of antibiotics. It's the best comparison I can give. But if you're doing something like Princess Half Marathon or Fairy Tale Challenge or Springtime Surprise, do the 2 to 3 weeks after the marathon. I guess it's 3 weeks technically. Brings you through that 45-minute easy run on that Thursday, rest on Friday, and then cross training on Saturday. And then that Sunday, that long run, you can pick back up into what that distance is. But you don't have to, because you've already done more than race distance or more than what race distance on Princess is going to be. So you're already trained. Now it's just maintenance miles. So you could drop down to like 4 miles, 5 miles, and then add a mile each weekend until you get up to maybe 8. You can max out at 8 and then go into taper like Princess Training has. So whatever the max long run weekend is, you don't have to do 10. You can if you want. You only have to go to 8 and then start tapering. And that will be good. Same thing with Springtime Surprise, but Springtime Surprise is further out. So do the full 2 to 3 weeks of the recovery from Dopey and then hop into training for the Springtime Surprise training plan from, since you're listening to this from my website. Just hop in wherever that is. It should be like the first week of February. Just hop right into that and you'll be good to go. Remember, the goal is to rest and recover, but optimize your recovery so that you don't lose your endurance, you don't get injured, and that you still want to run. Hurts my heart when somebody says, "Oh, I'm just not motivated. I just don't want to do it. They're so burnt out. They're so exhausted." That's why I create my training plans the way I create my training plans. That's why I do Stronger, Faster, Finisher the way I do coaching and programming in Stronger, Faster, Finisher, so that you don't get burnt out. You're not feeling exhausted. You're not dreading going and working out. Now, do we have our times where we're like, "Ugh, I just would rather do something else today"? Sure. Absolutely. Do not get me wrong. It is not all sunshine and butterflies over here. I sometimes don't want to go for a run, but it's not because I'm sick of running. It's because I'm either exhausted from, like the other day, I didn't fall asleep until 1 a.m. I was just thinking so much about all the things that need to get done before I leave for marathon weekend. And the next day, it's like, ugh, I just don't feel like it because I got 3 hours of sleep and I'm an 8-hour a day kind of sleeper. That's what my body likes and needs. That's what keeps me peachy and happy. So yes, we're going to have days like this. When you have training that isn't overloading your body and it hits the sweet spot of just enough, not too much, you don't not want to go run because it's just daunting. Sometimes you just don't want to run because that's the way life happens. But that typically is few and far between when you're following a training plan like this. That's what my runners tell me. The ones using my free training plan, they say, "Thank you. I actually got through all of the training because previous plans they followed before, they stopped training and they aren't sure why." It's probably because they exhausted themselves and they didn't want to do it anymore. It wasn't fun anymore. Who wants to feel miserable every time they go out for a long run? Not me. And my Stronger, Faster, Finisher clients will say things like, "Thank goodness I'm only going up to 20 miles for the Dopey training and seeing somebody else do 29. That sounds awful to me." These are actual things that people have said. Making it so that you keep wanting to train, but that starts with your recovery after this race. If you want to successfully go through Disneyland, Princess Weekend, Springtime, or even Dopey next year, don't be exhausted now. Be ready to go. A couple of years ago, one of my clients, she messaged me. So she did Dopey and she did faster on all of her races than she had done even just the previous year. She messaged me by Wednesday and was like, "Okay, can I go run?" Whereas the previous year, she didn't run for 9 weeks, even though she was training for Princess as well. She didn't run that whole time because she was exhausted and just didn't want to do it. Whereas this time after Dopey, 2 days later, she's like, "So can I run this walk?" And I said, no, rein it in. Don't overdo it. And then she loved training for Princess because it wasn't daunting. It wasn't exhausting. And she felt refreshed. Who feels refreshed after a Dopey race? Runners who do it the right way. Runners in Stronger, Faster, Finisher. And I want you to have that success too. So that's why I make these podcast episodes. And that's why I have Stronger, Faster, Finisher. And if you are listening to this in real time, it will be opening and starting January. So if you want to have the support and guidance of somebody who gets slow, back of the pack, or injury prone Run Disney runners and who gets these Run Disney races, and you want a community of other runners that are like that, I highly recommend Stronger, Faster, Finisher. Of course, I'm a little biased, right? But I invite you to join. If you have any questions about it, feel free to DM me on Instagram, runDisneyDPT, or email me, amarty@dralleypt.com. I'm happy to answer any questions.